The Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone is what happens when alchemy succeeds and everyone immediately panics. Created by Nicholas Flamel, the stone produces the elixir of life, granting extended lifespan, and can turn metal into pure gold. So yes, immortality and unlimited wealth. That's not dangerous at all. It was protected at Hogwarts during Harry's first year because Voldemort wanted it to restore his body. Subtle villain plan. The stone doesn't make you permanently immortal though. You have to keep drinking the elixir. Miss a dose? That's awkward. Flamel eventually chose to destroy it, meaning he and his wife would finally die, which is either brave or just exhausting after centuries. So, the stone isn't dark magic like a Horcrux, it's just extremely powerful. And unsurprisingly, everyone wanted it, which is exactly why it's considered one of the most dangerous magical artifacts ever created. The Elder Wand. The Elder Wand is basically the wand equivalent of I'm better than you and I know it. It's one of the 3 Deathly Hallows, and is said to be unbeatable in a duel. According to legend, Death himself created it from elderwood and gave it to Antioch Peveril. Historically, probably just an extremely powerful wand that kept changing owners in very violent ways. Because here's the catch, you don't inherit the Elder Wand politely, you win it by defeating its master, which means its loyalty shifts through disarming, dueling, or outright murder. Subtle succession planning. It passed through countless dark witches and wizards before ending up with Dumbledore, then Draco Malfoy, then Harry Potter. Though most people miss that technical detail. The wand amplifies power, but it also paints a target on your back. So yes, if you want it, remember this wand's resume is mostly duels and funerals. Let's just keep it on the forbidden list, shall we? The Resurrection Stone. The Resurrection Stone is the most emotionally dangerous artifact on this list. Also a Deathly Hallow. It was supposedly created by Death and was given to Cadmus Peveril. Its power to recall the dead. Not fully alive, not ghosts, more like echoes, visible, aware, but still separated from the living. Cadmus tried to bring back the woman he loved. It did not go well. She wasn't truly alive, and the grief drove him to madness. So, that's your warning label. The stone later ended up hidden inside Marvolo Gaunt's ring, and eventually passed to Dumbledore, who destroyed the Horcrux in the ring but kept the stone. Harry used it briefly before walking into the Forbidden Forest to face Voldemort. It gave him comfort, not resurrection. Canon mystery. No one fully understands whether the spirit it summons are truly the dead or something in between. Are they echoes, souls, projections? Slightly terrifying grief illusions. The ambiguity is the entire danger. The invisibility cloak. Now this one is brilliant. Unlike the other Hallows, this one didn't cause a centuries-long murder spree. The invisibility cloak originally belonged to Ignotus Peveril, the only brother sensible enough not to show off. Instead of flaunting it, he used it to avoid death until he was ready. Mature, rare trait. Now, here's the gossip. Ignotus had a daughter, Iolantha Peveril, who married Hardwin Potter, and that's how the cloak quietly entered the Potter family line. No duels, no curses, just marriage paperwork and very powerful fabric. It passed from generation to generation, from Hardwin to the Potters, eventually to James, who loaned it to Dumbledore, and finally to Harry. Unlike the Elder Wand, it protects instead of provokes. Absurd use case? Perfect for avoiding enemies, your ex, and awkward conversations. Not that anyone would use it irresponsibly, obviously. The Goblet of Fire. The Goblet of Fire looks like a dramatic wooden cup with blue flames. Harmless? Absolutely not. It's an ancient magical artifact that selects champions for the Triwizard tournament. Once it chooses you, that's it. You're magically bound to compete. No, sorry I changed my mind. It's basically a flaming legal contract with 0 loopholes. In Goblet of Fire, someone slipped Harry's name into it under a 4th school. The Goblet accepted it, and suddenly a 14-year-old was legally required to fight dragons. Brilliant system. The magic behind it is powerful and impartial. It judges age lines, intent, and eligibility, though apparently not fraud if you're clever enough. It isn't dark magic exactly, but if a cup can force you into life-threatening tasks without consent, that's mildly terrifying. So yes, if a magic cup ever asks for your name, maybe just walk away, especially if dragons are involved. The Triwizard Cup. Now, this one started normal. The Triwizard Cup was meant to be the trophy awarded to the tournament champion. Touch it first, win eternal glory, pose for photos. Lovely. Except someone, again, tampered with it. It was turned into a portkey programmed to transport whoever touched it straight to a graveyard in Little Hangleton. That's where Voldemort regained his body using dark ritual magic involving bone, flesh, and blood. Not exactly celebratory. The cup itself wasn't evil, it was just modified. Portkeys are legal in common magical transportation devices. This one was weaponized. So, technically, it's just a cup, but historically, it's the trophy that resurrected the Dark Lord, which is possibly the worst tournament prize in wizarding history. The Time Turner. The Time Turner is a tiny hourglass on a chain that lets you travel backward in time, which sounds helpful until you realize that's how paradoxes happen. Used responsibly, it allows a witch or wizard to attend multiple classes at once. Used irresponsibly, it can unravel entire timelines. No pressure. Hermione used one in 3rd year to take extra subjects. Later it was used to save Sirius Black and Buckbeak by carefully repeating a few hours without being seen. The rule is simple. Do not interact with your past self, or anyone, or anything, really. The Ministry tightly controls Time Turners for a reason. In fact, most were destroyed during the Battle of the Department of Mysteries, because giving teenagers access to time manipulation is obviously a terrible long-term strategy. Plot hole curiosity? If Time Turners exist, why didn't anyone fix everything? Snape could have sorted things out with Lily. Dumbledore could have avoided that tower situation. And honestly, Voldemort could have at least scheduled a nose appointment. The Marauder's Map. The Marauder's Map is either the greatest school invention ever or a security nightmare, possibly both. Created by 4 highly talented and slightly unhinged students, the map shows every corridor of Hogwarts and the live location of every person inside it. Yes, every person including staff. It also reveals hidden passages and secret tunnels, which is deeply concerning from an administrative perspective. The map only activates with the correct phrase and insults anyone who tries to pry without permission, which is brilliant. It was later used to track suspicious activity, including one supposedly dead wizard wandering the halls under a different name. It's not forbidden by law, but if you think about it for more than 5 seconds, it absolutely should be. The pensive. The pensive is basically a magical memory basin for when your brain gets too full. You extract a thought, place it in the silver liquid, and then physically step inside it to relive the memory from any angle. Yes, walk around in it, observe conversations, notice details you missed. Slightly invasive. It doesn't change the memory, it preserves it exactly as it happened, which makes it incredibly useful for investigations, court cases, and extremely awkward personal revelations. Dumbledore used it to store and analyze memories connected to Voldemort's past. Without it, understanding Horcruxes would have been nearly impossible. It's not dark magic, but it's powerful, because once you can rewatch the past with clarity, you can't pretend you misunderstood it. Absurd use case? Perfect for when someone says, "I never said that." Oh, really? Let's pour that memory into a bowl and rewatch it together, shall we? Nothing ends an argument faster than literal evidence. The Mirror of Erised. The Mirror of Erised shows you your deepest, most desperate desire. Not what you need, not what's practical, what you want more than anything. When someone looks into it, they see themselves achieving that desire. For some, it's family. For redheads, a Quidditch trophy. For a certain Dark Lord, possibly a nose reconstruction. Hypothetically, the danger is obsession. People can lose themselves staring into it, trapped by what could be instead of living in what is. Dumbledore once said it gives neither knowledge nor truth, only desire. The mirror was hidden at Hogwarts and used to protect the Philosopher's Stone, because only someone who wanted the stone but not to use it could retrieve it. Clever bit of magic. It's not cursed, but it can quietly ruin you if you're not careful. The Sword of Gryffindor. The Sword of Gryffindor isn't just a fancy relic hanging in the headmaster's office. It's goblin-made, which means it absorbs what strengthens it. Basilisk venom? Absorbed. Now permanently capable of destroying Horcruxes. Efficient. It only presents itself to true Gryffindors in need. Which sounds dramatic, well, because it is. Harry pulled it from the sorting hat in second year. Later it appeared to someone freezing in a forest pond who probably didn't enjoy that experience. Because it absorbs substances that make it stronger, it never requires polishing or maintenance. It literally improves itself. Show off. It's not forbidden magic, but it is incredibly selective, nearly indestructible, and technically goblin property, which opens a whole different argument. Either way, if a sword chooses you, things are about to get serious. The Vanishing Cabinet. The Vanishing Cabinet is what happens when furniture becomes a transportation network. It exists as a linked pair. Whatever enters one exits through the other, normally harmless storage. In the wrong hands, a smuggling device. One cabinet was damaged at Hogwarts years earlier. Its twin remained in Borgin and Burke's. Eventually, someone very determined repaired the Hogwarts cabinet and used it to allow Death Eaters into the castle. Yes, that year. Unlike portkeys, this method bypassed most magical protections because the cabinets were already connected. Subtle infiltration via antique furniture. It's not flashy, it doesn't glow, it just waits, which might make it more dangerous than half the glowing cursed objects on this list. Plot hole curiosity, so Hogwarts has a magical teleporting cabinet, and nobody thought to check it if it worked before a war? The Hand of Glory. The Hand of Glory is exactly as unsettling as it sounds. It's shriveled, magically preserved human hand that holds a candle only the owner can see. Everyone else, total darkness. It's sold in Borgin and Burke's, which should already tell you everything. The artifact is used for navigating dark spaces without being detected. Incredibly useful if you're sneaking through cursed corridors or breaking into places you absolutely shouldn't be. It doesn't attack anyone, it doesn't explode, it just quietly gives advantage in the dark, which somehow makes it worse. It's not widely used by decent people, let's put it that way. If your plan involves needing a severed glowing hand to see in darkness, you've already made several questionable life choices. The Cursed Opal Necklace. The Cursed Opal Necklace looks harmless, pretty even. That's how it gets you. It carries a powerful curse that causes extreme suffering to anyone who touches it directly. When Katie Bell made contact, she was violently lifted into the air and nearly killed, all from brief exposure. The necklace was placed in a shop window in Borgin and Burke's and later used in an assassination attempt. The plan involves smuggling it into Hogwarts disguised as an innocent gift. Subtle, not remotely. Its curse is immediate and aggressive, designed to cause damage without a duel or warning. It's not legendary like a hollow, it's just vicious, and possibly the strongest argument for never touching suspicious jewelry in Nocturne Alley. Or anything else for that matter. Absurd use case, home security, but dramatic. Leave it visible, let the burglar grab it, and allow natural consequences to handle the rest. The Deluminator. The Deluminator, formerly known as the Put-Outer, looks like a small silver device. Press it and nearby light sources vanish. Press it again and they return. Very useful for dramatic nighttime exits. Originally invented by Dumbledore, it does more than just control lights. After certain disagreements between friends, it was modified to guide its owner back to where they belong. It literally absorbs light, then releases it in a way that leads you home. Not flashy, not cursed, just quietly brilliant. It doesn't split souls, it doesn't resurrect anyone, it doesn't force you into tournaments. It simply helps when you've made a terrible decision and need to fix it, which hypothetically could be useful for anyone at any time. No specific examples. A two-way mirror. A two-way mirror is exactly what it sounds like, a match pair that allows instant visual communication between holders. Think magical video call minus Wi-Fi. Originally owned by Sirius Black and James Potter, the mirrors were meant for secret conversations during detention, because obviously they would invent something like that. Later, one mirror became crucial for contacting help from inside a very dangerous seaside manor. Long story involves imprisonment. The magic isn't dark, it's actually quite simple compared to other artifacts on this list, but it's powerful because it connects people across distance instantly. In a world full of cursed objects and soul fragments, this one's strength is communication. And sometimes that's more powerful than any wand. The Veil. The Veil is possibly the most unsettling object in the entire Ministry of Magic. It stands inside the Death Chamber in the Department of Mysteries. A stone archway draped with a tattered back curtain that constantly whispers. Only those who've seen death, like Harry and Luna, can hear the whispers beyond it. Others hear nothing. Similar rules as Thestrals. That's not random. It's ancient, older than the Ministry itself, and likely predates modern wizarding government, which raises a question. Did they discover it and build around it, or did they just move offices next to a portal to who knows where? When Sirius Black fell through it during the Battle of the Department of Mysteries, he didn't reappear. He didn't leave a body. He simply passed beyond the curtain. J.K. Rowling later confirmed the veil is a literal boundary between life and death. Not a teleport, not a trick, which means Sirius didn't vanish. He crossed over permanently. Horcruxes. Imagine deciding normal immortality isn't dramatic enough. So you split your soul into pieces and hide them in objects. That's a Horcrux. You murder someone, tear your soul apart, which is already a massive red flag, and seal a fragment inside an item. As long as the Horcrux exists, you can't properly die. It's incredibly dark magic. Even most books refuse to explain how it's done, which is probably for the best. Souls aren't meant to be sliced up like birthday cake. Voldemort made multiple Horcruxes: Tom Riddle's diary, Marvolo Gaunt's ring, Slytherin's locket, Hufflepuff's cup, Ravenclaw's diadem, Nagini, and accidentally Harry. Yeah, that one was awkward. Destroying one requires something powerful enough to cause irreversible magical damage, like Basilisk's venom or fiend fire. Fun fact, some say they require you to sacrifice your nose. I don't know about that, but I think we got evidence. So yes, Horcruxes are forbidden, also disgusting. Now it's time for the real danger, your next lesson at Stickman Hogwarts. All 18 special and forbidden spells in Harry Potter Explained. Click now before the veil starts whispering your name.